Hey, it's Andrew Priestley, and welcome to Multiply Your Money. And I'm having a bad hair day today. I've been outside, it's windy. I came inside, and then technical difficulty, so I'm sort of tearing my hair out how to get this working. And I've looked at so many videos. Hey, there's William. Looked at so many videos about how to bring a guest onto the Facebook Live, because I had a great guest lined up. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, can't get them to hook up. I don't know what the hell's going on with Facebook, or what's going on with me, right? Anyway, what I'm talking about is the money chimp: spend less, save more, get out of debt faster. And here's a really quick question. I've been labouring this point, but it's really, really important. Okay. I wanted to draw the difference. This whole book is about spend less. There's two identities that we've talked about, right? There's the spender, and then there's the investor, and they feel differently. A spender feels different to an investor. Okay, a spender wants to spend. You know when you're in spend mode. You know that the state you're in at the time is I'm in spending mode, right? And how do you know that? Well, firstly, people say, well, how do I do the spend less thing? Well, firstly, to do the spend less thing, what you've got to be doing is you've got to be looking, well, what am I currently spending my money on right now? So the best way to do that is to actually create receipts. So what I've got is I've got a plastic bag, and like what I've got here is I've got receipt from the post office. I've got something from what do we got? John Lewis. Okay. Another thing from John Lewis there. It was a can opener, just so you know. Railway ticket. Okay. There's a coffee shop. All that sort of stuff. And so I've got all these receipts, and I put them in there, in this plastic bag. Okay. And then the second thing is what I do is I also print out my bank statements. Okay, and I'm going to match up the receipts with the bank statements. And the best way I think of doing this is do it over a 3-month period. Now, you might say, well, 3 months is a long time, but I really want you to get what the spending patterns are, right? So the first thing about spending less is you get receipts for everything. And I've got this habit when I go in, I buy a coffee, £2.59, for example. I say, can I get a receipt, please? They want receipts for everything. Now, they could be anybody. Could be the HMRC, could be the ATO, could be the IRS. But basically, it sort of sends a message that this is a business expense, and basically I need a receipt so I can show what the expense is, right? And I purchase things. I've got a credit card, and that credit card is that I use for all things like petty cash expenditure. So if I buy a coffee, if I buy a lunch, if I buy a railway ticket, it's all on that one credit card. Okay. If I have to spend cash, I get a receipt for everything. I get receipts, and I put it in that little bag. There's Suzanne again. There's Andrew. Hey, mate. How are you? Hey, Suzanne. How are you? So I get all those receipts, and if I'm using my credit card, it's showing up on my credit card like this, right? And at the end of each month, it probably takes me half an hour a month. I go through the receipts, and I match them up to the statement. And if I do that for 1 month, I start to get an idea. If I do it for 2 months, I get a better idea. If I do it for 3 months, I start to get a really good picture about what am I spending my money on. And once you know what you're spending your money on, then you can actually start trimming. You can actually start trimming back. So for me, obviously, over a 3-month period, I thought, shoot, look at how much I'm spending on coffee. Look at what I'm spending on takeaway meals, for example. And then I might say, well, I need to reduce that. I need to cut that back. Okay. So that gives me a goal or a target to work for. I'm going to start spending less on this, but what do you do with the extra money? Well, what you might do, and what a lot of people do, is they save money here and they go spend it on something else, right? So can you see the identity is one of spender, right? Is my identity one, I've just got to spend money, right? Spenders spend more than they earn, or they spend right up to the amount. So if they've got cash, they will go spend it, right? Investors spend less than they earn, and then save and invest the rest. Now here's the plan that I've been talking to you about. The first plan is, right, is firstly, if you can, reduce your spending. That's the first thing. And if you've got excess cash left over, then what I'm suggesting is create an account, and in that account you start putting that money in there, because the next goal is to try and save up a month's worth of living expenses in cash reserves, then going for 2 months, then 3. Ideally, you want between 3 and 6 months worth of living expenses in savings, in cash somewhere. Okay, and that's really your first goal, the thing that you want to work on most. You want to get at least 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses in cash as a cash financial cushion in your business. When you've got that, then you're now creating surplus cash above that. I can't tell you how your life will change when you know that you've got 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months worth of living expenses in cash. Okay, so once you've got that handled, right, then you might say, right, I'm going to save religiously 10% of whatever I'm earning, right, after my take-home pay. So if you earn £100 a week, you're going to save £10 of that. Okay. Once you've achieved the goal of you've got your living expenses cushion, your cash reserve buffer covered, right, you're going to save probably 10% of that. All right. And each month, or I would say each quarter, take it up a notch. So instead of saving 10% of what you earn, save 11%. Then next month 12%. Then next month save 13%. So you're increasing it each time. Now what happens is, as you're increasing your savings and your spending's coming down, then it might mean I've got to earn more. But again, you're spending, as you earn more, you're saving more as well, right? Is this making sense? Give me some thumbs up or toss me some hearts if this is making sense to you. There's James. Hey, James, how are you? If it's making sense to you, just toss me a couple of hearts here. I'm reading from the book, The Money Chimp, Spend Less, Save More. Thanks, mate. There's Willem. Save more and get out of debt faster. Now, this is what I'm finding. People are coming back to me and they're saying, well, I know what to do. How do I do it? I'm trying to give you some how-tos right here. Okay, but the number one thing that's going to change everything for you, right, that I see, is that you're starting to say, right, I'm aiming to have a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months worth of overhead, right, expenses in cash in my bank. Okay, and then you're starting a spending thing. Now, as you build up your spendings, you can actually divert that into an investment. Okay, but the first challenge for most people is get that safety cushion, that financial cushion in place. Okay, I can't tell you how different life is when you go, yep, I've got 3 months, I've got 6 months worth of living expenses covered. You just relax a little bit more. Okay, I talk about it in this book called The Money Chimp, if you haven't got it. Okay, now the other great thing about being in this group is if you scroll down, there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's a whole bunch of videos. There's a couple of workshops that I've now put in there. There's some really cool little documents that you can read that back up, for example, how to create your cash buffer. Okay, there's a document. It's a PDF. You can download that and watch that. And so you can watch the video and then you can do the activity. And that shows you exactly what I'm talking in great detail. You can, of course, buy the book. Okay, that's there as well. So where I'm going with this is we're talking about how to make money, make more money. And to do that, you've got to reduce your spending, increase your savings. And so if you put a whole bunch of money aside and you're covering your overheads, you've got 3 months worth of living expenses, you can then take some of that saving and draw down the debt on things like credit card. Now for me, I wasn't going to do that just by saving money and spending less, right? Because what had happened was I'd had a business failure and I was living off my credit card, and my credit card bill was getting really, really high. And I wish that was just me, but I find there's so many people I talk to who are on great salaries, good incomes, and they spend right up to their limit. Okay, they've got no cash whatsoever. Okay, so these things all go, they're all connected. They all go hand in glove, right? They're really important. They all link in together. So you can't make money, make more money if you've got massive credit card debts and things like that. So whatever you can do, try and start paying off your credit card bill. But that might mean you may need to work extra hours. So for example, in my case, I took a second and a third job, and the goal was just to pay off my credit card, which I did. And then it was to build up my cash reserves. And then I was running those two side by side. I was paying down my credit card. I was putting money into my cash cushion, my financial cushion, my cash reserves. And then when I got the cash reserves happening, I'd actually also paid off the credit card. And then I started to have surplus cash that I could then invest, which is where it goes. Now that might take you time to do that. The good news is, for most people I'm talking about, you can start to see a significant difference within 3 months, within 90 days, if you actually start applying what I'm talking to you about here. Now, if you want, there's a couple of documents on there on the Multiply Your Money group. Have a look at those. There's a lot of really great stuff in there for you to have a look at and to play with. There's a lot of great videos. So scroll back and watch a whole lot of this. Sure, you can watch reruns of Friends and The Mentalist and all that sort of stuff. But hey, this is 4 to 5 minutes. Change your life, okay? Hey, and don't forget, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, tick the bell button, subscribe so you're catching up, so you're getting all the latest of this. Now, just so you know, it's very repetitive what I'm talking about, but I find, you can read the book. This gives you all the content you need, so you know what to do, and it tells you how to do it. But why don't smart people break free of these problems here is because they need, right, to keep hearing it again and again and again, so that the mindset changes from spender to investor. Now, let's finish on this point. I'm an investor. I'm a loving investor, right? That's the thing, a quality that underpins everything that I do. I really think about, I invest my time. How do I invest my money? Not only my money, but how do I invest my time, in relationships, for example. How do I invest? I was just on the weekend looking after my grandson, and we went to the Science Museum, so I'm investing in that relationship. We had a great time together. So all of that is about investing. You've got to make that shift to an investor. So here's the finishing question. How does a spender feel? What does it feel like to be a spender? And what does it feel like to be an investor? There's a big difference, right? So I just want you to imagine, if you're a spender, think, what does it feel like to be an investor really? Now you might think, yeah, it's a lot of fun going out and doing shopping and stuff like that. But long term, what does it feel like? And most spenders I talk to, it doesn't feel good. It makes them worry and anxious. There's a lot of anxiety and fear around the future. I'm not going to have any money. Well, what I'm saying is the investor feels differently to start with. They know what they want in life. They know what their ideal day looks like. And there's a great activity. I put a workshop up in this group called Your Ideal Day. And it comes with a really great little worksheet that you can look at as well. So make sure that you go and look at that. Do the workshop. It's in there. It's in the Multiply Your Money group. Just scroll down. You'll find it. Do that. And see if you can say, okay, I know what my ideal day looks like because I invested in having an ideal day. Okay? Let's leave it there. Talk to you on the next one. See ya.